Hello, happy Sunday. How are you doing? I was watching a YouTuber, Life After 40, who, by the way, is effortlessly funny. This particular video, even though he was talking about something really serious, I was laughing my head off. This is how funny he is. But he was talking about how, um, how isn't it funny that you might be earning the same money with a friend, your brother, a colleague, and somehow they seem to be going on all these holidays and you can't afford to go on any. So he was like, I wasn't really good at maths in school, but I'm not that bad. I don't understand it. How come this guy, I earn more than him? And he's able to go to Mexico, he's able to travel, he's been on several holidays, and I haven't been on one since, I don't know, 2019 or something like that. And even in the comments, a lot of people were saying stuff like that about people that they think they earn the same amount of money who live similar lifestyles, but for some reason they seem to be able to afford to go on holiday and they're not able to afford to go on holiday. And that got me thinking about money and psychology. Within the same vein, I was watching, I think her name is Celestine Jonah. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but I'll put a clip of her channel in the video. She is a 57-year-old woman who's currently broke. And I have to say, I love watching um, YouTubers who are over the age of 40, 50, 60. One of my favorite YouTubers is Joe Good, and she just turned 70. Just because, um, for the most part, there's no pretense. They talk about things that usually people don't like to talk about. They put themselves out there, and I really appreciate it because money is one of the things that people don't like talking about. Um, a lot of people, majority of people don't have enough of it. And for the most part, people are pretending. So she is 57 and she's broke and she's got a history and all of that. But those two videos got me thinking, like I said, about money and psychology. And I'm quite interested in how humans behave and why they behave the way they do. And one of the things I've been learning is that the way we handle money has very little to do with intelligence. So when people say stuff like, but I'm not that bad with maths, or I'm good with maths, or people feel ashamed because they feel like, oh, maybe I'm not intelligent enough. That's why I don't understand money. Money has a lot to do with how we feel. Um, Money has a lot to do with our upbringing. Like, what is your money story? I'm reading this book, Feel Good Finance by Aja Evans, which is really good. This book is really good because she's a therapist who's a finance person. She helps her clients with their issues with money, but from a psychological point of view, because, like I said, a lot of how we spend money and how we see money has very little to do with intelligence, but more to do with how we feel about money. There's so much information out there about this is what you invest in and this is how to make money, and they're quick and make £1,000 in one day or what. There's so many information online and it can be intimidating, especially if you're one of the people who aren't very good with maths, like the guy living over 40, life after 40 was talking about. The truth is it has nothing to do with that. The question you need to be asking yourself is, what is your money story? How were you taught about money? What was it when you were growing up? If you look back to when you were younger, what did your parents say about money? Actually, I want you to believe in the comments. What did your parents tell you about money? And if you trace it back and think about how you interact with money now, a lot of that has to do with how you grew up around money. So if you grew up in a household where you didn't have enough of it, and your parents, maybe they were working several jobs to just try and make ends meet. When you grow older and you've got your own money, you either are the type of person where you're so afraid to find yourself back in that position where you have nothing. So because of that, you hold on to money for dear life. You don't enjoy the money that you earn. You're just always like putting it aside for a rainy day that never comes. Or you could be on the other side of the spectrum, where it's like you just splurge and emotionally spend anything that comes to your hand. You just spend it, you spend it, and you spend it. So I would say that to be able to face whatever financial situation you're in now, you should look back at what your money history is, what your parents taught you about money, what your teachers taught you about money, what your grandparents showed you about money. Because sometimes it's not about what your parents are saying, it's about what they're saying. It's about how you feel in the home. Have you always felt safe when it comes to money? A lot of people say, oh, how come we're not taught this in school, and how come we're not, which is true, because most of us are raised in the system where the system wants workers and not necessarily flourishing entrepreneurs or flourishing business people. They just want workers to keep churning out stuff, because we live in a capitalist society, and whether you like it or not, we live in a society where money is important. Another thing where people feel uncomfortable or feel intimidated is that, so people say, oh, save and invest, but the truth is that, say for instance, you're looking at compound interest kind of shares or stock. The truth is that for stuff like that, because there is no quick fix, there's no quick it's not a quick money making scheme. You need patience, you need discipline. So your history with money, your history with discipline and patience is going to affect the way you feel about investing. So I think that a lot of people who talk about money should actually talk about the psychology of money first, and try to deal with the issues that people have around money. If you've never had it, you probably always have a scarcity mindset where the little that you have now, you're going to hold on to it for dear life because you don't want it to go away. You don't want to ever have to feel insecure or unsafe. Yeah, so that's the thing I'm thinking about at the moment. So if you are struggling with money, I would say educate yourself. There are so many books out there. This is a good one, Feel Good Finance by Adja Evans, because it deals with the psychology of money, our history and our stories, and our money stories. There's actually a line in there that I've marked. I've marked a line in there, and I think I'll read that to you. So many of us have experienced this, experienced scarcity at home, experienced not having enough. But she was talking about her client of hers who grew up with very little money at home, and now she's very wealthy. She's got all these big deals, but she still has issues with taking care of herself and spending the money because of the fear that she has about not having enough, or having to go back to a space where she doesn't have enough. If that makes sense? So this is what she's talking about. So many of us have experienced this and continue to live in past methodologies that no longer serve what our lives look like today. The influence systems have on our lives can be lasting, even though we live in different times. We witness behaviors of those around us in response to what they lived through and were taught. And those ideas can last through generations, as do the systems, if they are not acknowledged, challenged, and changed. So basically, she's saying that unless you acknowledge, challenge, and change your history with money, you are going to repeat the same thing that your parents and their parents did, because your parents has taught you about money based on what their parents have taught them or not taught them, or their teachers have taught them. And some of these methods and some of these things that they've taught us no longer works for us within the context of the life that we currently live. So I would say that try and educate yourself. There are books out there that can help, but also think about, what was it? What your first time of thinking about money or not having money? How did that make you feel? And does that affect the way you see money now? If it does, then at least that's a starting point to try and work your way through that and slowly create a new life for yourself. I hope my rambling has been useful in one way or another. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about money. Do you have enough of it? Do you have excess of it? Are you intimidated by money? Because I know, because I'm an accountant, so, and just because you're an accountant doesn't mean you're very good with money. Those who know. Um, and like, it goes back to what I said about, it's less to do about intelligence, but more to do about what you feel about money. But I'm an accountant that works in a creative space, and a lot of people are intimidated by numbers and scared of numbers. Some people don't check their bank balances. They just don't look at it. They're like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Me, I want to know. I want to know every penny that goes in and out of my account. That may be a childhood trauma, but at least I know what's going on, right? If a penny comes out of my account, I know. If a dime comes out of my account, I know. I know where every penny. If you ask me how much I spent on something 2 years ago, I've got a spreadsheet to tell you this is how much I spent on mortgage. This is how much I spent on transport. This is how much I spent on fuel. I know everything that goes out of my account. And then there are the people who just like, oh, la 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 la. The truth is that not looking at it is not going to help you. So I feel that just face it. But the starting point is try and understand what your money story is, and that how that influences your current situation, how that influences how you see money now. So that's it from me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you in the next video.